What's up, gamers? Welcome to this game discussion. You already saw it in the title of the video. We're just going to jump right into this, hence why you saw the intro at the beginning of the video. So, I've done a few videos talking about No Man's Sky, screaming, yelling, even breaking the game. And for the most part, they're met with positive views. And by positive views, I'm not literally talking about the views. I'm talking about the way people think when they see the video. And some not so positive. And then I sit there and I look at other videos and people that talk about it. And I notice that there's this mentality in gaming where if you're hating on something, all right, or let me reword this. If you're a gamer and you have a concern about something, and you make a video, you write an article voicing that concern, you're then immediately labeled as a hater. And anyone that then follows in that same pursuit to voice their thoughts and concerns about a subject in gaming, then they are also now considered a hater and a sheep. Because now they're just following the line of haters that are bitching, moaning, whining, crying about whatever it is that they have an issue with in gaming. And you ultimately have to ask yourself, why is that? Let's travel back in time. Let's look at Mass Effect 3. Mass Effect 3, ladies and gentlemen. You all remember that? BioWare, Electronic Arts. I like to call them electronic assholes. And that was a time in which more gamers united. Game journalists united. With the exception of Colin Moriarty. But Colin Moriarty is a fucking idiot, alright? And that's neither here nor there. Gamers, because that's the more important part, alright? Fuck these fake-ass game journalists. Banded together, united. Even gamers that didn't play the game, right here, never played any Mass Effect game, I talked about it. I talked about how it was wrong, how they misled the gamers, so on and such forth. Because that's what this was. They were led to believe that your choices mattered. That your choices would give you an outcome that would be different. And they ended up with copy, pasted, alternate, colored endings. And the Mass Effect players felt that they had been cheated. That they had put their hard-earned money by buying Mass Effect 1, 2, only to be disappointed in number 3. And, yeah, there were a few people, Colin Moriarty, no real reason, just he popped in my head, that started getting this ideology of gamer entitlement. That somehow you were entitled to a game that should have actually been something that was promised but never actually was. And this was a moment where gamers were able to band together. And although we could say that the outcome wasn't 100% satisfactory among all gamers, there had ended up being some kind of resolution to it. Now we jump into this modern 2016, ladies and gentlemen. And now the No Man's Sky controversy. And from certain game journalists to certain gamers, they have this mentality that if you talk in negative about No Man's Sky, you just a hater. You just a sheep who's going to ride the hate train. And why is it that we have this mentality? I mean, this mentality did exist during the Mass Effect 3 controversy, but it wasn't as big. In fact, you really didn't have to talk about it. You didn't have to make a video specific talking about the controversy and the hypocrisy of other people and how this was blatantly wrong, in reference to Mass Effect 3 bullshit ending. And yet, here we are in this modern age, and all of a sudden, if you have an honest thought or concern about a game like Mass Effect 3, you a fucking hater. You have gamers out there that are blaming you for the hype. You have gamers that are out there blaming you for actual video and audio footage that exists of Sean Murray showing and telling features that don't exist in a game. And yet somehow you're to blame for that. Where do we as a community actually decide to pull our head out of our ass and get back to that mentality of working together? And I know, you look at the history of gaming and controversial subjects throughout gaming, and unfortunately it almost seems as if gamers can unite sometimes, but not all the time. Even when the majority of gamers have the same basis of an opinion on whatever controversy. And now somewhere in this modern generation of gaming, even though we have somewhat the same basis, there's still this ideology that you just ride in the hate train. I saw this video from an individual, what's his name again? I gotta look at, oh, never mind, it's right there. Dan Before Time, all right? It's about 5-minute video. He basically iterates that I don't see why basically you have an issue with No Man's Sky, because you're lied to in advertising all the time. Then he talks about Diet Cola, Subway, and how obviously none of that stuff is healthy, but it's like, advertised in that sense. He then also brings up Aliens Colonial Marines, I believe is the name of the game, as well as Assassin's Creed Unity, and how those games, the developers claimed were going to have things in it, and they never ended up doing it. And it was like, where were gamers? Where was the controversy for those? Now, the whole irony from his video is he says he's not here to defend No Man's Sky, and yet that's the context that you get through the entire video. Now, let's actually talk about what he labeled. So first off, he's comparing food products, advertising about food, but we already know that fucking shit's fake. I mean, how many fucking years have there been commercials for food, and like McDonald's, Burger King, take your pick of whatever the fuck it is, whatever restaurant. It looks amazing on television, but when you get there, it looks like some kind of flatulated dick or some shit like that, alright? It doesn't look that appetizing. In fact, the one in the video looks far more appetizing. Like that strawberry. It looks more appetizing than the strawberries at the grocery store. But then there's documentaries out there that tell you why exactly that is. Because they use lipstick, put it on the strawberry, put some dew on it to make it look redder, juicier. People still go and buy it. They know that the advertising is bullshit, but they still go buy it anyway. Because it's still fucking good food. So you really can't inherently compare the lies that are in food advertising when pretty much people are already familiar that it's total bullshit. That's not what they're going to get when they go to McDonald's and get a Burger King. It's not going to look that fucking big and juicy, alright? It's going to look more like a flatulated dick. And then about his context of Assassin's Creed Unity and Aliens Colonial Marines. Why were those games a disappointment? How come there wasn't a big uproar for those games? Because people already expect disappointment from them because they're franchises. People have played Alien Predator-based games. They ain't very good. So why would this game be any better than those games? So when it is known, oh hey, guess what? They lied about this feature. I told you it was going to be a shit can. Same with it. Assassin's Creed. Let me tell you, Assassin's Creed. If you were to actually number every game, what number would Assassin's Creed Unity be? That should tell you right there. Assassin's Creed is a franchise. Whatever massive following it used to have has dwindled down. So that would be another reason why there wasn't such a huge outcry for a lack of promises or features that developers claim were going to be in the game. That's because the following isn't really there anymore. And then we jump back to this topic of the hate train. And it's like, why is it that you as a gamer are somehow labeled a person that hates simply because you may have a thought or a concern about something that you're passionate about? Because I think this mentality that game journalists and certain gamers, when they're describing the controversy surrounding No Man's Sky, and they're talking about how it's just a bunch of hate, you're labeling it hate. The gaming community as a whole is already seen as a bunch of children. And yet, it is the gamers and game journalists themselves that continue to feed that stereotype. Because it's not like you can be a person, regardless of how much vulgar language you use in a video, how angry you are displaying your emotions within a video. It's not like you could have an honest opinion, an honest concern about something that you wanted to be good, that you wanted to like. And it turned out you couldn't because these are the factual things that are out there. So one of my subscribers suggested that I go watch this video of this individual who reviewed No Man's Sky, gave it a perfect score, and defended the controversy around the game. And by that I mean not defend that people having issues about it, but basically saying Hello Games didn't lie, that kind of thing. So I went and I watched this video. And here's another thing that plays into this stereotype. And this is actually how this video came about, is because of this individual. I watched his video, and then I had two things that I commented. One was that this individual in his comments claimed that he had researched the controversy. It's clear from his video and the comments on his own video that he did not do that. It's also clear that he did not research the actual premise and idea of No Man's Sky, because as he's describing what you can do and what you're able to do and the premise behind the game, he does get a couple of things wrong. So I pointed that out. And then I also pointed out that, you know, his review isn't even a review. He should have literally called it a discussion, because he doesn't really say, he doesn't have anything wrong with the game, any cons. You know, when you review something, you have pros and cons. He only talks about things that he liked about the game, and then he gives it a massive high score, and then he basically tells people 2 thumbs up, go get it. And I sit there and I'm like, why would you want to be that dishonest? And ironically, you know, he tried to iterate that he talked about, you know, the No Man's Sky hate train, that the only reason why I'm disagreeing with his review is because I hate the game. No, I disagree with your review because it's biased. Even I, a person who has done quite a few videos on the controversy surrounding No Man's Sky, could do an unbiased review of the game. It's not that fucking hard to do. But the point that I'm trying to get at is this individual basically kept saying that I was following this hate train, that I was just jumping on this hate train. He also played the bigger dick contest. Oh, I got 6,000 subscribers. You only got 600 subscribers. You're only doing No Man's Sky videos because it's the popular thing. So, you know, that's why that you have to do it, because that's how you have to get views. You see the mentality that we're talking about here? It's not like I can be a gamer and I have an honest concern with something that I wanted to like, that I wanted to enjoy, that I liked the idea and the concept. And then it fell flat, not because of something that I was expecting to be in the game, that I had created in my imagination, but things that the developer themselves said were going to be in the game. Which is ironic, because this individual also kept bringing up multiplayer. Well, because you were expecting a No, I was not expecting a multiplayer game. I'm going by what the developers claimed was it going to be. I never even believed that it was going to be like a Call of Duty multiplayer game, or a fucking like an MMO, like on a fucking PC. I never expected that. I even mentioned that in one of my videos. But yet, here we are, and apparently I'm seen as the negative guy because I'm just jumping on this hate train. And this hate train exists because of gamers and game journalists, that when they talk about the controversy surrounding this game, it's not gamers having issues. It's not gamers talking about the controversy. It's not gamers being mad or feeling ripped off and disappointed. They're hating on No Man's Sky. They're hating on Sean Murray. They're hating on Hello Games. You know, you travel back in time, metaphorically, obviously. Mass Effect 3, the Xbox One, when it was announced. I mean, these are controversial subjects in gaming that gamers were able to unite. And in some facet that thereof, they were able to change the negative aspects that they all did not agree with. And yet we jump to No Man's Sky, and everybody is defending it. And if you're talking bad about the game in any way, you're a hater. You're just getting on this train of hate for the sake of getting on the train of hate to get views on your YouTube channel, whatever the case may be. Whatever excuse that people want to label you with because they like the game. You can't be just an honest gamer who is passionate about gaming and you have a thought and concern about a game that you wanted to like, that you wanted to play. And it wasn't something like the game let you down or the trailers let you down. It was the developer, Sean Murray, Hello Games, who blatantly lied about features. But yet somehow we're the bad guys. And don't get me wrong, you know, I've heard of Sean Murray getting death threats. And you know what? That does not fucking help the gaming community within of itself. Be it from literal gamers or just lifeless trolls that want to create this false view or to continue the stereotype that gamers are fucking children. You know, if you want to like No Man's Sky, fucking like it. I don't give a shit. I mean, in that essence, I don't really understand why you would like a game that is built on lies. But for whatever reason, you're enjoying it. Alright, I get it. Games are subjective. Our opinions are going to be differated on this subject. But why is it that because you like the game, I'm just a hater? How is it that sometimes gamers can unite and work together on a particular subject, and other times you're seen as part of the problem rather than the solution? Because I don't give a shit if you're a YouTuber and you're screaming and cussing at your fucking camera, or if you're talking calmly like I am about No Man's Sky. It is your honest thought and concern that you have with the game that should be the fundamental point. Not how that message is given, not how it is displayed. And it doesn't really help that other gamers out there are going to label you a hater because it's not like you have any kind of passion for gaming. And you want gaming to be better. Not only for you, but for future generations to come. You want to be able, if you have kids someday, to tell them about your experience. Maybe even whip out that old-ass PS3, alright? Yeah, I know. That's going to be a day. Crazy shit, right? And be like, yeah, these are the games I used to play. Or the PS4, or the Xbox One. Like, yep, this is what I used to do. Hell, even a PC. This is what I used to play. Floppy inch. Floppy disks. That's what games used to come on. Then they upgraded to CDs. And then years down the road, who knows? Fucking they upgrade something different to computers. Like, yeah, they used to be on CDs. Well, that's like fucking caveman shit right there. And you know, I sit here and I think about that kind of context, regardless of what your current opinion is on No Man's Sky and other controversies in gaming. And you know, that as a gamer excites me. But how is it that we as gamers want to continue these stereotypes that will forever follow the generations to come after us? Do we not want to teach the newer generation that, hey, this should not be tolerated, this should not be accepted? That yes, we are the consumer, but we're the ones buying these products. And we do have some sense of entitlement. And that isn't a negative thing. How is it that that became a negative thing? Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video in some fashion or form. And remember, gamers, at the end of the day, we're not haters. We're just voicing our thoughts and concerns about something that we're passionate about. And maybe the people labeling us as haters should look in the fucking mirror.
Tactical nuke incoming!